All right, let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to an edition of Deeper Farmer Cigar Garage Talks. How's everyone doing? We're back again with a special guest who reminded me it's been almost 3-4 months since she's been willing to grace herself with our camera. Say hello.
Hello.
Homeschooling Mama's here. Post-baby. We popped out our son. By the way, we call him Baby Bro on the channel here, just so you know.
We popped. I did all the work.
Okay, anyhow. What are we smoking? What are we drinking tonight? So, I am smoking a Charter Oak Pascal. Kind of a random cigar. It was in a sampler pack. Opened up the humidor. I was looking for something fun because I had a fun drink today. And I found this one. It's just sitting there right on top. So it's like, perfect.
It doesn't smell too bad.
I see now if I would have thought 2 seconds ahead, I have cigars that actually have pipe tobacco in them.
Oh, they probably would smell better.
They might have smelled better. The special drink for you per farmer tonight, we have a very special wine. So the story behind this, we had a friend of ours who's a priest, and his dad actually doesn't live too far from us. And his dad is a bit of a gardener. Look at that. He had some berries that he really wanted to see what it would taste like if they were turned into wine. He knows that I make wine, asked if we'd harvest them, turn them into some wine. So I did. But it just so happens I had a project where I had to make I didn't have to make, I made a barrel for aging spirits. I'll give this a try here real quick. Oh, that is amazing. Okay. That's, wow. Try at least a sip. I know you can't have much, just you may actually like this. So anyhow, it is a way to mix a wood barrel with a metal barrel, right?
It doesn't really taste like wine.
That's why I know you'd like it.
It doesn't have that really sour wine.
So anyway, this barrel, which is part metal, part wood, has been sitting diligently in my in the kitchen for about a year. I've been able to keep my hands off of it for a year. I want to see how it ages out. That is fantastic. That's going to become a thing. Wow, that's really good. So I'm pairing with this cigar. I thought I would have had one of the pipe tobacco cigars, but I didn't think long enough and hard enough ahead. So anyhow, yes, I believe our neighbor is driving his gator around.
Is that what that
We're
is?
probably going to be hearing some chicken sounds here soon and some horns and bells. But Homeschooling Mama, what are we talking about tonight?
I don't remember how you phrased it. Something about 1 to 6.
So in one of my earlier videos, I think once this one comes out, it'll be 2 or 3 videos back. I make a mention about how stopping at 3 kids is the worst thing you could ever do. And I stand by that, but one of our friends took offense to it. They listened to that and they got a little defensive because they have 3 kids.
I don't think she was defensive.
So anyhow, I thought I'd actually explain that. I kind of mentioned the video that I'd probably make a video. I moved it up on the docket just because it's kind of a fun topic. So as all you guys know, we have 7 children now. And I believe we can speak with authority what it's like to have 1 through 6. Maybe I'll shoot a video in a couple of years what it's like to have number 7. So, yeah, I firmly believe that you should not, if you have the ability and you're kind of contemplating it, don't stop at 3. And we'll kind of explain that. 3 is in my opinion, was the hardest we've ever had. Everyone I know who has 3 has challenges, which we'll talk about. So if you have the ability, if you're watching this, like I'm considering having, debate, do I want to have number 3 or do we, want to have number 4? Hopefully this video can kind of clear up what it's like to have 1 through 6. Again, we can't really talk about authority with number 7, although we will touch on it briefly. So, 1 child mommy, homeschool mama, what did you think? What was it like to have just 1 child?
I think that was the hardest.
Why is that?
So once you have 2, they can play with each other. They entertain each other. They have like a friend built in all the time. But one is constant, wants mom or dad or both, or needs all the attention. I mean, there's some things that are easier. You carry less stuff. You only have to haul one child around. It's fewer doctor's appointments, fewer dentist appointments, fewer everything in that regards. But like day to day, it's harder. And unless your child has like the easiest palate imaginable, either mom and dad are going to be eating toddler food, finger foods, or your toddler is going to be eating one meal and you're going to be eating something else. So you're going to have to make 2 separate meals for just 3 people.
And I mean, I'd say it's also easier just because it's 2 versus 1. If one parent is busy or has to go somewhere, they have they can take care of the kid. And it was easy in the sense that we could adapt to one schedule. Once we had 2, we had like children who had conflicting schedules. One wanted to be awake, one wanted to be asleep, one wanted to do this, one wanted to do that. So I do admit one child, just having one is not a good idea. I'm totally against one child families. Again, if you have the choice, if you have the ability, this isn't knocking anyone who falls in those categories less than we're talking about. It's really just talking about how if you have the choice, have more than one for sure. So we ratchet up 2 kids. What was it like having 2 kids?
Well, they constantly had a friend, and ours are so close together that they really don't remember not having a friend. They don't like our oldest does not remember being an only child.
Yeah, does not remember life outside of it.
He was maybe 17 months old, 18 months old when Swedish Compass was born. So he has no true memory of being a single, like, only child.
Only child.
But there were months before Swedish Compass was born where it really is like mom and dad are their playmates, mom and dad are their like caregiver, mom and dad are like their socialization. And that's saying something because with Vashman we did all of the mom groups, we did all of the parent groups, we did all of the early on, all of the Lamaze, we did play groups, we had
socialization hours, library hours.
I mean, we knew that he was partially deaf, so he had therapy from the time he was like months old, and you know, we have had like constant like interaction with other people, but it was still harder than once Swedish Compass was born because Big Brother wants to spend time with little sister rather than mom and dad. Little sister wants to be with Big Brother rather than mom and dad because he's cooler and funner and closer to her size. Yeah.
And there's also at the parent side, I mean, you have, you know, usually one kid will gravitate towards one of the parents more than the other. So, you know, you have like Swedish Compass really was a daddy's girl. Still is. And Vashman was a mama's boy. Still is. And it's cool. Like we could, you know, separate our time. You know, if stuff went haywire, we each had a child we could grab and go. So 2 was interesting. Again, we kind of talked about this a little pregame, some of the green screen room. You know, we could have stopped at 2 and been happy. Most of my brothers and sisters stopped at 2. Most of your brothers and sisters
had more than that.
Had more than that.
Only one of them had to.
Yep. So we then moved to the dreaded 3. I'm going to kick this one off. So I am a huge proponent. If you have the ability, do not stop at 3. 3 for me was the worst. And the reason is, 1, you definitely have a middle child. You have the child who did have almost exclusive mom or dad time, knows what it's like to have exclusive mom and dad time, now has another child. They're not the baby anymore, and they have to have their time divided. And it's more a perception thing than it is an honest, like we still spend equal time with all of them. But now the oldest one remembers what it's like not to have had that third child.
But was that an effect of not... So we did have a couple of losses in between Swedish Compass and...
Bashman. Or Wild and Free Wolf.
Wild and Free Wolf. So there's 4 years difference.
There is.
Had there been 18 months like the rest of them, or 20 months?
I think you still... because at a bare minimum then, Vashman would have been 3, maybe 4. At that point, he knows what it's like not to have a younger sibling.
Well, no, it wouldn't because he had.
Sorry,
his
the
young-
youngest sibling.
The youngest sibling, yes.
He knows it's us versus
In
them.
fairness, though, Vashman isn't the one that had the bad reaction.
No, it
So
really
he
was-
probably would have done
It was
fine.
really Swedish Compass who had this whole like, I'm now the middle child. Still to this day, even though she now has what, 5 younger brothers and sisters, still pretends like she's the middle child.
Still makes a big deal about the short term she was the middle child,
Yeah.
which was really
It was
only
very,
about
very
18
short,
months because we had
Fairy Dancer.
Fairy Dancer about 18 to 20 months after Wild and Free World.
We're not there yet. So yeah, 3. The reason I say it is because there will definitely be a middle child, and they will have that middle child complex. Everyone who I know who has 3 children, no matter what they do, and some actually talk about they aggressively try to prove that they are not. There is no middle child syndrome to the detriment of the other children sometimes. But that child, I don't know what it is, will always think they're the middle child. They're the one getting...
Well, and logistically, it is harder. So, you have 2 kids, you can have a small sedan, like a small car, and you still have plenty of space. But you have 3 kids, and especially if they're all in booster seats or car seats, like, it's almost not enough space for 3 kids to have a car. But a van that holds 7 passengers is almost too big
Yeah.
for a family with just 3 kids. So it's an awkward size because a lot of sedans are not big enough to comfortably fit 3 kids in the back seat. Even if you get like those narrow fit car seats, because we've tried those.
I tried that. I tried it. Didn't work so well.
And I mean, it's nice to be able to take a smaller car around, but it's almost like it's just challenging because you can't fit as much stuff in the car. You can't fit as many, like, you probably need still at least 1 diaper bag, if not enough stuff for 2 kids. And so you're kind of like constantly hauling the same amount of stuff you would if you had more, but
And with the older kid, everything's new. You're experimenting, you're trying. The middle kid, well, you've already been through that. And the youngest one, you just gravitate towards, they need more attention because they're younger. So I think that's where the middle child really comes in. Like, there's nothing new the middle child can do, but everything's new to the youngest child. So, all right, moving on. So I thoroughly hated having 3 kids. That was extremely rough. Now, granted, we had also had a lot of life changes at that point. We went through a lot of stuff, but a lot of the people I talked to had 3 kids talk about how it's tough. You definitely have a middle child, and they'll let you know it. So then we had the 4th child. What are your feelings on 4 kids?
it's definitely easier than 3. I mean, you got 2 hands, so one holds 2 hands, one holds 2 hands, so there's that. But you get rid of the middle child, I guess. It definitely feels more appropriate to have a van when you have 4 than when you have 3. And logistically speaking, sitting them all in the vehicle is easier. You put the 2 youngest in the middle bench, and you put the 2 oldest in the back bench. That is the one nice thing about 3 when you have them sitting abreast of each other, though. The older kids love to pass the Soothie or toys to the baby.
Yeah, the baby, yeah.
So there are some benefits there, but they still like to pass toys and Soothies to babies when they're...
And once you have that 4th kid, usually, like Vashman was, what do we figure? He was 10?
Let's see. Fairy Dancer is 10. He was 7.
7?
7 to 8.
7 to 8. So, I mean, yeah, that's right. At 8 years old, he is, they're able, so his 8 and 6 was our 2 oldest, give or take. I mean, rounding here and there. I mean, they're old enough to be independent. They're old enough to kind of play on their own. They can still help, though. They can grab diapers. They can carry diaper bags and get you wipes, so they can start helping out with stuff. And they're finally at that maturity level where they realize that, like, this is more than me. Like, I'm a big brother. I'm a big sister. I need to help out. I need to be, they still are our children, but they get that idea that, I'm older now. I need more. I have more responsibility.
Well, and they usually get a kick out of helping.
Yep.
They
Big
enjoy helping. Now, we are weird, from what I understand, for most parents of multiple kids, because we have never ever let
Yeah.
one of our kids change a diaper. So none of our older kids have ever changed the diaper or the clothes or anything of their younger siblings. Now, nowadays, we'll let them help pick out outfits, but
Yeah.
all of our kids, well, except for baby boy now, are able to get themselves dressed. They pick their own clothes. So they might just help them pick, okay, which dress do you want to wear to church this week? And I'll help you find your tights, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But we have never expected them to be responsible for changing a diaper or changing clothes or feeding them. It was always a like treat for our older kids to be able to like give them a little bit of baby food
Yeah.
when they were old enough.
And I do know some at the age of 8, they would have been changing the baby's diaper, or at
Yeah,
least
and
helping out heavily.
like we have never,
Yeah.
no matter how old the kids have been, I don't see us doing that.
And I have to admit, we both thought 4 was it. Four was going to be done. It was 2 and 2, very bonded children. They played well together with each other. They were very close. So we thought we were done.
It was kind of a bittersweet, like reasonable, like we were both. That seemed right.
Yep, that just seemed perfect. Then child 5 came. Did not have as much of a middle child syndrome with that one. Wild and Free Wolf, they all acknowledged she was the middle, but she never really got that chip on her shoulder as being the middle child.
But again, number 6 came
Yeah.
so quickly that they really didn't. There wasn't that gap of age. Like there's still, one is 8 and the next one is almost 6, so it's still about 2 years difference between the two youngest.
We're on 5 though. We'll get to 6
I
here in
know,
a second.
but-
That's fine. So yeah, we didn't really have a middle child syndrome. It kind of was. There's almost 2 because you had Vashman and Swedish Compass were the olders. You had the baby, and then you had Fairy Dancer and Wild and Free Wolf, who were the
Middles.
quote unquote middles.
So we kind of always separated them with the bigs, the middles, and the littles.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think the fact that there were 3 girls made
Yeah.
a difference too, because they all wanted to dote on
Baby Boy.
on
yeah,
Baby
or
Boy,
Fifth
on
was a
number
boy.
5. So they all wanted to dote on him. They wanted to talk to him. They wanted to cuddle him and hold him. And so it was like, he was almost like their baby doll that they got to hold and cuddle when he was happy. But like the moment he cried, it was like,
Yep. Push him off to mom and dad again.
and we have never really expected the kids to watch their younger siblings to any extent. Like play with them, yes, but
And it was interesting. Number 5 definitely was spoiled by his brothers and sisters. Like over gave him attention, which we still are dealing with today, because they spent so much time doting. Like he couldn't, if he even whimpered, someone was sticking a soothie in his mouth or giving him a treat or
Reading a
reading a book or telling mom and dad we had to pick him up. So we're still dealing with that today, which is cool.
yeah, he's the only one of all of our 6 oldest who can't play on his own for more than a short time. He wants attention nonstop.
Needs attention nonstop, which is interesting. I would pick Swedish Compass for that one, but she's very good now at being on her own.
But they are a lot alike. Swedish
they are.
Compass
And it's interesting, although we didn't really want to have a 6th kid, it was definitely there. Like, maybe we should have a 6th because I don't believe in having an odd number of children. I believe you should have an even number. So it wasn't like we were necessarily like, okay, let's have another one, but there came another one. Again, totally surprised. So we're up to child number 6. So what are your thoughts with that?
Honestly, number 4 and number 6, I think part of the reason why they're so easy is just because their personalities are easier. Like they just have an easygoing, joyful, happy personality. Number 6 is a little more, I'm not sure, sassy about it.
Yeah. Well, and okay, let's back up. So from 4 to 5, and we both have said this to many people, we both agree. After 4, what's the big deal about having another one? You're already making mammoth-sized meals. You're already driving big vehicles.
You already have chaos everywhere.
You have chaos everywhere. And the good part is, once you get past 4, now once our little Hellion was born, Vashman was in, preteen?
Yeah.
So 11.
He's 11, 12.
11, 12 when he was born. Very independent, very much able to help. So was Swedish Compass. They could actually help cook meals. They could be able to babysit for, once our 5th was old enough, like about a year old, Swedish Compass was babysitting. Not for
we
long
didn't really
times.
have her babysit our kids, but she had gone through babysitter training and certification and
But
CPR.
the two of them could be trusted enough that they could then babysit.
Yeah, we could run to the store if we had.
We could run to the store. We'd go to a doctor's appointment. We could, when time permitted and funds permitted, go on a date. It really is after 4. It's just kind of. It's not really a big deal. I mean, there's no more food. There's no more really bigger transportation. There's no, the house grew quite substantially. The size of the house definitely took some factors when buying a house.
Yeah, but we had moved back to the house that we had. So.
We had moved back to our duplex that we combined. So, but yeah, it really is like after 4, it just keep them coming, kind of like if you kind of realize that, like, what's one more mouth to feed? Even when we had our exchange student, like, it really didn't increase our food bill at all. It increased our heating bill. That's a story for a whole nother video. I think I even shot that one talking about the realizing why he took hour-long showers, 3 of them in a day. That's my bad, though. I'll take the blame for that one. Whoops. So yeah, it's just really interesting. The expenses kind of just plateau for the most part.
Except diapers, that's the only
Diapers
But once they're
suck,
potty
but,
trained.
Yeah, once they're potty trained, that's fine. But I mean, the diapers are the same for any kid, whether you got 1 or you got 12. That newborn cost of diaper stays the same. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, I didn't really see our food bill jump up at all. Because again, we're making huge meals. We're making meals that can accommodate 8 to 12 people already, because sometimes we want to have leftovers anyway. So that really wasn't as big of a deal. And again, a lot of the kids were independent, and the older 2 could really much help with 5 and 6. Like, they
did.
Still now, even our 2 oldest now are very much able to help out and care for and watch over. Ash, our baby,
They don't always do it.
They don't always do it. They're not always happy about it. Baby bro right now he's sleeping, being watched over by Swedish Compass as she plays a video game.
And that is hilarious because, like, they're fighting over who gets to watch him, hold him, cuddle him.
Yeah, we definitely have to meter that.
They're doing a little bit better considering how, like, it's been just barely a week. And he has, like, they're catching on that, no, you need to, when he's happy and just sitting there looking around, let him sit there and look around. Let him, like, take in his surroundings. And, he doesn't have to be picked up the moment his eyes open. Like, if he cries, we pick him up, of course. But if he's just happy, chilling, sitting there, waving his arms and looking around, that's, we kind of pushed onto the kids that's okay. He can explore his world from right there.
He can just chill.
And it's totally okay for them to just sit in front of him and talk to him instead of picking him up.
So let's talk about number 7. 100% did not see. There's 5 years gap, almost 6 years gap between our youngest and now our youngest baby bro.
You gotta get names for those too.
Yeah, I was hoping.
I was thinking second son because of the.
Wow, second son, last daughter.
It's the second son, youngest daughter.
Last daughter. Yeah, they're supposed to be able to pick theirs.
I'm just saying, it's fine. Hard. It's hard now. Like,
yeah, I get it.
You can't say youngest son anymore.
Yeah, second son. There we go. He's now the middle son. There we go. I got another middle inadvertently. It is interesting. So our Vashman is within the next year probably gonna be moving out. So we're back down to 6 again. Back down to status quo.
Which will fit in the car again.
The 2 oldest now are very much, like we just talked about, very much able to help out, which is nice. I mean, that's one thing I think people, when they hear the size of a family, like I think they envision that there's like 7 5-year-olds running around our house. Like I think people don't realize that doesn't happen overnight. Like
I mean, I guess unless you have quadruplets or whatever, or quintuplets. But yeah.
I mean that's one thing to kind of mention. We don't have any twins or triplets, and I'm not going to speak on that authority. If you have twins or triplets, I good on you. I have no experience with that. I'm commenting on just having one kid at a time, and minimal Irish twins. So, yeah, we can't mention much about 7-7 right now. He's, a week old when this video is shot. It'll be 2 weeks old once it comes out. Very chill child, actually sleeping okay through the night. Yeah, knock on everything wooden. Pretty healthy little bugger. And again, the kids seem to be doing really well with him.
He's our runt officially.
A runt officially.
Until then, number 4 was our runt.
Or number 4 at 8 pounds 3 ounces. He is the runt of the litter. He's the smallest child to be born. Figure that one out. Our youngest, last daughter, as we're calling it, last daughter, second
Youngest
son,
daughter.
last daughter.
Youngest daughter, last daughter.
She had about 1 week of realization that she's no longer being the baby in the family and had an existential crisis because of it.
Yeah, but that was before he was even born.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'm not going to be the baby anymore. But, like, she is taking to being a big sister.
She's taking to being a big sister very
She
well.
loves not being the littlest. She loves being able to help with him.
She's definitely taken on that bigger sister role quite well. So.
Yep. She likes to sit down and read to him and cuddle him. And she gets a kick out of the fact that now she's not the baby.
Not the baby anymore.
But I think it also helps that she's still the baby girl.
She's still the baby girl, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we're going to be back down to 6 within definitely under 2 years. I'm hoping within a year's time we'll be back down to 6. Vashman is getting evicted here soon.
I don't know that he's getting evicted, but I have a feeling that he is getting more independent. And honestly, he doesn't know quite what he wants to do yet. Yeah. So once he figures that out, I think.
Well, he just, a little bit of a late bloomer, but he's starting his first job now. And he's getting some plans. He's talking about what he's saving up his money for and whatnot. So, like I said, it might take 2 or 3 years, but we're going to be back down to 1 vehicle again if all goes well. Again,
well, and pretty soon he's going to be hopefully driving on his own,
yeah.
And it'll be a little bit easier. Right now we are back to 2 vehicles temporarily. He does have his level 1. We're working to get towards level 2.
And Swedish Compass should be getting her driver's license soon. It's a pain in the ass right now when this video is being shot. You can almost not find a driving school.
Yeah. And when you do find them, the wait is so long.
Right. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Again, don't stop at 1. At least have 2. Don't stop at 3. 4 is way easier. It's way nicer. You'll enjoy having 4 children. Your children will enjoy having 4 children. Again, if you're able, if something happens and you're not able to, I don't judge. That's fine. That's what this whole video is about, is that if you're a young couple, you're there with 3 kids, you're like, oh my God, I could never have another kid. My kids are terrors. No, all 3. Whenever you have 3 kids, they're all terrors. It's always a lift. Oh yeah, everyone I talk to has 3 kids has horror stories. Everyone I talk to has 4. Like, yeah, I don't know why I even considered stopping at 3. Again, at 5, again, we weren't planning on having a 6, but at the same time, there was a part of me that's like, we should really have a 6th kid. Still a surprise when it happened. It was like, oh wow, that should not have been possible. So here we are. Much like number 7, but. Apparently I need to go back to school because I don't know where the babies come from, how babies are made. Although our youngest daughter, our last daughter, knows exactly how babies are made thanks to a child book that she got. Very detailed about eggs and springs and mommy's egg or mommy's seed and daddy's seed, and that was unique. I think she knows more about the reproductive system than most high school kids right now. So anyway, yeah, that's just where I think I'm going to leave this one. We're getting towards 30 minutes here. That's kind of my perspective, our perspective. One, that's no fun. Two is good. I can't slight anyone for having two. Three is a pain in the ass. Have number four. Four is awesome. And after four, I mean, they're kids. You have it down to a system. You have it, you're buying the same amount of food. Keep going. Keep going. Might as well. Unless you have, rotten little shithead kids, then stop, But if you got good, high-quality kids that are a benefit to society, and bigger families, usually your kids are pretty well-behaved because they have to be, because, otherwise dad kicks their ass. Keep having kids, After four, it doesn't get any harder. It doesn't get any easier. It's pretty much status quo, so. Anyway, any final words of wisdom parting as we part this video?
No, not really. I would have to say they're each special and a blessing in their own way.
They are. Very much a blessing. Have as many kids as you can because they're awesome. Well, anyway, Homeschooling Mama's watch is going off. She's a popular fashionista,
Apparently,
influencer, people.
Apparently somebody needs help somewhere in one of the groups.
And one of the homes, yeah, she's a moving and a shaking woman. So I'm gonna sit here and finish my cigar. I might have a second glass of wine because that's fantastic. That's gonna be a thing. So anyway, folks, have more kids. Moral of the story: have more kids. Hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.